this is one of the things that I had a problem with. Being in prison, being in jail, a lot of things as living a life as a trans woman, it wasn't being implemented for us in there. Meaning like bras, meaning like, what else? Certain things that just what trans people would want to buy, like panties, like we don't want boxes, like why we want to walk around. So a lot of things like that wasn't given to us. We weren't able to buy those things on commissary. So, and another thing, like for our appearance, going into the courtroom, they say always come look your best in the courtroom, right? So as being a trans person, I have hair. So I would have to go in the courtroom with a low cut fade, and that's not right. That's not respecting the way I live my life, right? You having me go to...
They would require you to have a shorter haircut?
They wouldn't require this. They wasn't implementing the process of trans women. They wasn't giving us within the policy. It was a policy that was aligned for trans people. So if you identify as trans, you was able to go to the beauty shop. So that was something that, talking to Diana, was implemented for trans women now. Like, so it was like she was making the things that wasn't possible for trans women back in the days now to be able to happen now. Meaning like that's what she was for. So I'm saying all this to get to a point. That's why I'm saying this. So she was making,
so she was someone who got you the things that you needed as a trans woman. She made sure that you're okay and you were able to get things like underwear, bras, stuff like that.
Yeah, and like resources, like girls got out of jail and they needed help with like probably housing and, you know, other things. She was just that woman to go to, like, and if it's cell arrangements, you have someone in your cell that you don't identify with wants to be in your cell that maybe will probably say words to you that you feel threatened for your life, that she would get them out the cell with you. She was there to kind of like overwatch us when she knows certain officers in there didn't really respect trans people and wouldn't even implement the policies behind trans rights. So she was there for that. So along with that, she had someone come in with her one day by the name of Shannon Parker. Shannon Parker was doing outreach work. Outreach work, what she was doing was like basically coming in, I guess, inspiring trans girls to have, for whatever reason of being in prison. You have some girls that are going for theft. You have some girls going for prostitution. Some girls going for killing, like myself, almost temps. You know, but she was there to uplift us and say, hey, whatever you in for, you can make change now. Look at me. You know, so that was the moment of her coming in. It was implemented for us to kind of meet with her every 2 weeks. So meeting with her the first week, this was implemented for Division 9. We all came in the room. It was like maybe 3 trans girls in the room. We all sat there with Shannon Parker, Diane. We all sitting there. And she was like, well, I'm bringing Shannon Parker here just to kind of like, you know, help you guys out. If you guys need other outside resources in your neighborhood, she can help that, you know, help you guys find those resources, you know, like, you know. So I'm like, okay. So I'm happy. I'm like, all right. We got somebody to bring us resources. We could talk to her now. And then she was a trans woman. So it was like that part for me was like impacting. I'm like, wait a minute, I got a trans woman coming through the front door and not through the, you know, double doors. Like it was different. Like she ain't coming in with Chanel, you know, handcuffs on. It was like a moment for me like, oh my God, like they really allowing this? So I was kind of geeked. So she was like, okay, well, I want to know all of you guys' stories, you know, getting to know y'all as we, you know, start off, you know, meeting every week. And I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking to myself, and I think I informed this, and I tell everybody, this is literally how I was thinking. I'm thinking like, okay, well, I don't mind telling you, but how could you help us? Like, you know, we still gonna be in prison by telling our story. But I'm thinking to myself, okay, I guess I'll share. So we all shared our story. We went around, it was like 3 of us. We sat around the table and just told our story. And I came to mine, I told my story. I said, me and these young men got into it, and I was outside making my money, trying to, you know, make ends meet for me. And, you know, this is what happened.
Survival work.
Survivor, trying to survive. And she was like, okay. And I told the story, whatever, everything. We wrapped up the conversation, and, you know, it was time for us to go back to our tiers. So as we was getting ready, I'm going to go back to our tiers, she stopped me and said, Eisha, could you come to the side? I want to ask you a question. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, yeah, what's the question? She was like, is it possible I can take your story and put it on my social media? And I was like, mind you, this 2012.
So it's like Facebook, Instagram just starting. It's not super popular yet. Yeah.
This can just let you know how the impact of social media can like really bring change upon anybody. So don't take how we take social media for granted. People need to really understand social media can actually impact people in so many ways, just more than one. And look at man. But yeah, she took my story, she put it on her social media, and the next following week she came back to me, and and everything was always to the side. Like she didn't never want to kind of like, like I make me feel like I was like special than the other girls. So she put me to the side again. She was like, well, I took your story and I shared your story on my social media, and I got like a lot of feedback from people like, is this person real? And I was like, yeah, I'm real. I'm real. So I was getting like a little bit excited because mind you, I had a public defender. I had no one working for me in a good standard for me. I've been in jail already for like maybe 3 years already. So I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Maybe this may be my hope that I've been hoping in my cell every day, like from different public defenders. I'm like, maybe this is my hope is coming along. Like I say, it's always a guide in someone. So, okay. So she like, yeah, a lot of people have been asking me, is your story real? And is it okay if I can share your ID information? And I said, yeah, share it. Yes. I'm getting happy now. Like, yes, share my story. Yes, share it. And she
yeah,
like,
you're
okay,
like, yes, please.
Share it. So the next following week, now mind you, that week when she shared my social media ID, and that moment for me, it was a very like impacting moment where when people don't understand, when you hoping for something and an impact situation come where like tons of mails start coming in from people like all around the world. Like, I understand your story. I know what you've been through. I can relate to you. Like, it was a moment for me where I felt like, I don't know, like I get emotional, but I try not to cry about certain things because I'm very strong. I'm a strong-minded person, but like being in prison and just getting letters, mind you, this is the second week when she gave my ID. So I didn't even get to see her the following 2 weeks after that. Mail was coming every day. People writing me like letters saying, oh my God, you're superwoman to me. I'm saying, I understand, Eisha, don't give up. That moment for me, sitting in the cell, it was a life-changing moment. It changed my life. It brings so much of just courage to say, Eisha, don't give up. I'm glad you didn't give up, Eisha. You knew it was somebody out there that can hear your silent cry. And it was just a moment like, I don't know. To this day, it's still a moment where I sometimes can't believe it even really happened. Like saying before you, I wouldn't be before you if that moment really, from her taking my story and like really sharing it with the world of how people understand, like, that's not right for her to have to go to jail. What if it could have been the opposite way around? What if she was laying in the grave? Like, it was a moment for me. It was a touching moment.